Hi there. I thought I would do a video on how to wire a canvas. Not everybody knows how to do that. So first of all, you want to always know where the top is. There's nothing worse than wiring the bottom and finding out at the end. So we're going to start at the top and we're going to measure down 1/3 of the distance. And this happens to be an 11 by 14. So 11 is not easily divisible by 3, not evenly divisible by 3. So 3 is too little, 4 is too much. I round it and go midway. So we're going to use 3.5 as our midpoint. So generally, I used to take a pencil and mark 3.5. And I thought, you know, let's skip a step. And this way we won't have to switch our screwdriver bit with a drill bit. And I have this handy tool called an awl. Whoops, watch out, it's very sharp. Alright, so I'm going to measure down to 3.5. And I know you can't see the tape measure, sorry about that, just trust me. So here's 3, here's 3.5. And I'm going to put the awl right at the 3.5 point, and instead of having to do a pre-drilled hole, I'm just twisting it and pushing down, and I get a nice little hole, a starter hole for the screw. So now I'm going to do the same thing over here, 3.5, and it is important to be as accurate on one side as you are on the other. Okay, there's our starter hole. Oh, let go. Now I get these handy little things from Amazon. They come separately like this. You can also get them together, but I found that the ones you order that come together, the screws are quite short, which makes it a little hard to work with. So I just get a big bag of those, and whoops. I know there's lots of different gadgets to use. This is the gadget of my choice. I know it's hardware. I don't know what it's called. But it has a kind of a D-ring on it. So I call them D-rings, even though they're not exactly D-rings. So I'm pulling out 2 of those and 2 of my screws here. Put one on that side. So I'm just going to take this part, the hole, the tongue I call it, it's like sticking out its tongue at you, and stick the screw through it into the starter hole. Now I have seen frames come from, we'll call them big box stores so that I don't have to name them, hobby type stores, and I've seen them put these in wrong. So I'm going to show you. The loop part should be facing the center of the canvas. I'm going to take these out so I can show you what I mean. Okay, this loop should be pointing towards the middle because we're going to stretch the wire across it. I've seen them come back where these are pointing either up or down, and the wire is not going to sit nicely on that direction. So please, if you work for a framing department of a big box store, quit doing that, because when they come to me, I have to redo them. All right, so these should both face the middle. So now I'm going to put this one on this side, again, facing the middle, because that's the way the wire is going. Kind of makes sense to me, but you know, hey, somebody taught them the other way. Alright, so I'm sticking this in our pre-drilled hole. Sorry that my hand is in the way. Sometimes you can hold it up with 2 fingers around it until it gets started. I'm really trying to get my hand out of the way of the camera, and that's not working too well. There we go. So you tighten it until you can't turn it. Okay, you don't want it sloshing around. These are loose. And that's okay, but this part with the screw, you shouldn't be able to turn it. All right, now for the wire. Where's my wire? Oh, here it is. Okay. When I get a big ball or circular thing of wire, when you take it out of the package, it's gonna like all come undone. So what I do is I take, and you can see I'm pretty much down to the close to the end of mine, but I take it and I bend. Let's see, I'll take this part off for you. This is probably a roll of gift wrap paper or something. I don't know. It's pretty sturdy. Maybe it's something else. But I slit a little hole in the side and I put one end of the wire in there, and then I tape that one down, mostly so that I know not to use this one, because you got to have one that stays stationary. And then I wrap the wire around this, and trust me, when I get my wire, it covers this whole thing from one end to the other. Then at the other end, you put another little slit in the cardboard, and when you're done, you wrap it into that slit, and it'll stay. But it's just a nice way not to have it come undone on you. Okay, measuring. Here's how I measure. And granted, this is a little bit longer than what I need, but it works for me. So I take the wire and I hold it up over the end, I'm on this end, by about a finger's width. So my thumb, okay, I'm just gonna bend it so you can see how much. See, I have that much hanging over the end of the canvas. And then I do about the same thing on the other end, which is really hard for me to show you, but here's my finger right there. And I just kind of bend it over my finger so I know about where to cut it. And then I take my cutters and cut it right on that bend. Okay, now I'm still holding on to the wire over here because I know what happens if I don't. And so I need to lead it up to this little slit, put it in, and bend it. And then we're good to let go. Okay? All right, back to this. I'll sit out here a little bit. All right, so I put it through this loop. I put it through this loop. And then I bend them. Come on, get over here. There we go. So I bend them inward. And that way I can let go and it's not going to pull out. And I just kind of pull it as tight as I can. But I'm not looking to win any strength contests with it. But you want it taut. Because as you work with it, this wire will loosen a little. And trust me, people that are hanging your art, they don't want this wire way up here. Because when you hang it on the wall, whatever hook they're hanging it on is going to then show and distract from the art. You want it a third of the way down. Trust me. All right. So I used to do all these loop-de-loos and pull it through and make a fancy knot. And I said, you know what? I'm pretty sure the mice at night are not going to get behind this and unravel it. So I'm going to turn this around because I work better. I'm right-handed, and I work better with the loop being on the left. And I just kind of hold on to the loop, and I push this one around the wire as tight against the wire as I can. And I go around and around and around 4 or 5 or 6 times. That's really enough. And what you'll notice is the other end came out. That's okay. I've got the bend there and I know where it goes. And then I'm going to cut off the excess. And they kind of spread open. Oops. I think I need to sharpen my cutters actually. I'm going to take all these little ends. Generally, these will stay together. This time they didn't, but see, here's from my last one. They stayed together. Just depends how much you have. And then tuck that end around so that when somebody touches it, they're not going to get poked. Okay, now I'm going to swing this around again. because again, I like to work on this side. And I'm just going to give it a little tug so that, I mean, you can lift it. It's not like it's a straight jacket, but it's tight. And then I'm squishing this together so that I can pull this tight and then just wrap it around and around. 3, 4, 5, and we'll cut and then wrap 6. And there we go. Okay, I might not win any coiling competitions, but I haven't entered one yet either. So that is about as far as it should go. It has a little give so that you're not fighting to get it hung, but you don't want this going way up here either. That's just wrong. Okay, I hope this helped, and if it did, go ahead and hit subscribe. If you'd like to see other tips and tricks like this, I also have a Patreon website, and that is patreon.com/Ruth Inman Art. Patreon is Patreon. I'll put a link down in the description for you. Thank you very much.